Okay, so in this video, we are going to learn about groups and components. So with our four-chair example from last time, we were moving some things, and you noticed that some things got welded together. So for example, if I try, let's do this again. I'm going to try to move this one chair like this, and if I go to move it, you can see that stuff gets attached to it. Okay. SketchUp thinks that those items that touch or are touching things that I've selected are also supposed to be moved or adjusted or stretched, if you will. Okay. So in order to avoid that, a good practice to get into is making groups out of items that you know are likely not to change, or at least in the interim are going to be consistent. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase these chairs here for us, and we're going to make a group out of the first chair. Okay, so this is what I should have done the first time. Okay, so I'm going to select this chair, the whole thing, trying not to get any of these extraneous lines here. Okay, now once I have it selected and I'm happy with that, which looks like I am, what we're going to do is we're going to use our right mouse button. Okay, so now it's important that you highlight or move your mouse on top of the thing you're trying to work with, and you're going to press the right mouse button. And a context-sensitive menu will pop up. So you get things like, oh, do you want to enter entity info? Do you want to hide that? Do you want to erase that? Do you want to, do all kinds of different things? Okay, the main things that we're going to concentrate on today are make component and make group. Group is the simplest form. Components are a little more complicated. We're going to start with groups. So once you've highlighted what you want and you want to make that into a group, you're going to click Make Group. And now it's a group. Nothing really spectacular happened. It just makes it into one object now instead of a whole series of individual little objects. So if I click it, you notice it selects the whole chair, all of it, all at once. Okay. Let me just undo to before and bring this one back. So you'll notice that these are all individual little pieces. And when I click on it, it's not a group. Okay. And of course, when I undid, I disabled the group again, but let's just do it again. So we're going to highlight, we're going to go to select, we're going to highlight the the chair, trying not to get any of this extra stuff. We're going to right click, and we're going to say make group. Okay. So hopefully you can see the difference between this, which is a group, and this, which is not a group. Okay, you see how it selects all the individual things? Okay. So why is that important? Well, it makes it very easy to do things like create that arrangement or layout that we were talking about. I can just click on one object, I can click on the move tool, and I can click on the control key, and I can move it. I can then use the rotate tool. Make sure that I'm on the correct blue axes. I might have to move this, but that's okay. We're going to rotate that 180 degrees. We're going to move it. Okay. And then if I want to grab these two, that one and that one, I can just hold the shift key down, and that selects multiple things. And then I can, again, move it and hit control to do a copy and copy it to there. Okay. And now each of these is a group. Okay. So it makes it very easy, and they work together. If I decide, for example, let's make ourselves a little table for in between the two. Here, pull this up just like an inch, and we will. Oh, one tool that I haven't shown you yet is the circle tool. So let's look at that. Let's open the circle tool, and I'm just going to draw a circle right on the midpoint of this diagonal line. The midpoint of this diagonal line will be the center of the table. Okay. So let me erase this and this and this. Why am I doing this? Because I'm going to create a post for the table. I don't know. Let's make it 30 inches. Okay. And so there's my table. And we will also make that a group. So I'm going to highlight the objects that make up the table, right click, and also make that a group. So now that I can, I can do that, I can move it up to, say, oops, to the ground level, and then move it in between, something like that. Okay, so now we have a table between the chairs. Okay. So it makes it very easy to work with multiple different types of objects, because now if I click here, I know I'm not going to click the table. If I click here, I'm going to click the other chair. If I click here, I'm going to click the table, and so forth. So it makes it very easy. Okay. Now, one thing, though, that I wish that I would be able to do, let's say, for example, I decide that I don't like this chair. I want to edit it. Okay, so if it's a group, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to click on Edit Group. All right, so now that I can do that, I'm going to, let's say I want a little bit of a recliner seat on there. I want it to recline slightly. So I just drew an angle and I get rid of that. And then when I click outside the group, it will close the group. Okay, so that's awesome. The other thing that I could do, if I don't want this to function as a group anymore, let me just move this one out of the way. We're going to copy it. Say over here, maybe I want to use this to do a totally different type of chair. Okay, what I could do is highlight it, right click, and I can explode it. And now it's no longer a group, it's individual objects. Okay, so I don't know, maybe I want, what would I want to do here? Instead of a, maybe I want a curve here. Okay, that's something else that I also haven't shown you guys. Let's go to an arc. So I'm going to just draw an arc. Oops. Sorry, I want a 2-point arc. There we go. So I'm going to go from here to here, and then just make it look good. Okay. And so I would push pull that back, and I have a curved chair. Okay, I don't know. I don't think that looks any better, but you get the idea. So I could explode it, and then if I wanted to, I could make it into another group. Okay. But let's say that this chair over here is really what I want, and I want all my chairs to look the same. Well, what I could have done, and let's just copy this again. We'll get this as a separate thing by itself for right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of these. Okay. And this one too. And I'm going to take this chair and I'm going to explode it. Okay. And what I'm going to do, rather than make it a group, I'm going to make it a component. Okay. So I'm going to highlight the whole thing. So select the whole thing. I'm going to right click. I'm going to make it a component. Now this is much different. You can see it pops up a new dialog box. What do I want to call this? I want to call this chair style 1. Okay. So that this is the style. Okay. And I want to, I don't know, simple recliner chair, something, give it a name. I'm not going to do anything with these forcing cameras and horizontal. We're going to leave those blank. You technically don't have to have a description. The only thing you absolutely must do is give it a name. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. Okay, so now that's a component. Now it looks exactly like a group. If I move it, it functions like a group. If I copy it, right, functions like a group. Let's put another one over here, and we will rotate this one. And 180. Okay, and we will move it just into place where we think it'll look good, and then we'll copy it again so we get our arrangement. And then, I don't know, let's say I decide to design a whole restaurant. So I'm going to select all of this. I'm going to move it, press Control. There's another seating arrangement. Press Control. There's another seating arrangement. There's Control, another seating arrangement. Okay, so that looks awesome. But let's say the client, my restaurant owner, comes back to me and says, you know what? I'm not a fan of that. I want that chair to be a little bit higher. The backs are too small. The clients will complain that there's not enough support, and I want it to come in a little bit. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the component. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say Edit Component, just like we did for Edit Group. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this taller. And we're also going to make this shallower. Okay, so I'm going to just do this and this. And then I'm going to erase this and this. And then when I'm done, actually, let's do something else. Let's select this. And we're going to move that in so it's not quite so sloped. Do you see where this is going? Okay, hopefully you can see where this is going. I just realized that I didn't erase this here. Okay, so I'm editing one chair. One chair. And when I'm done, I go to the select tool and I just click somewhere off in space. It closes it, and look, all of the chairs, what do we got? 16 chairs in here. I edited one chair and all 16 chairs updated. Super powerful way to design and to adjust your design. None of my chairs have legs, for example. So I could edit this, go underneath. I could create a leg. Try to do this fairly quickly. Now I'm missing a couple of lines, but I can just quickly add those. Okay, so you can see I just quickly added 4 legs to my component, and presto, all my chairs now have extra legs on them. That would have taken me hours to redo all of that. Okay, so the power of components and the power of groups is huge. Okay, so don't forget to use those. Okay. Also, don't forget to save here. We're going to save as, and we're going to put it in our folder, and I'm going to call it tables and chairs dash Sturgeon, last name, whatever. Okay. All right, so what did we accomplish here? Well, we learned how to create a group, how to edit a group, how to explode a group. We also learned how to create a component, edit a component, and you can also explode components the same way. So if I highlight this, I can right click and I can say explode, or I could say make unique. Actually, this is something that I should have mentioned. If I make this chair unique, then what that means is If I go over here and I go to edit the component, and let's say we're going to put a line here, here, and here, and we're just going to push this in slightly. You can see that that does not happen. It happens to all the chairs except for this one right here that I made unique. Okay. All the chairs get edited, but the one that was made unique. So sometimes that might be a reason. There might be a reason why you need to do that. Okay. That concludes this video.